Welcome, Dolphins fans, haters, and everyone in between to your favorite show discussing the greatest franchise in sports, the Miami Dolphins. This is the PhinsPod. My name is Moose, your host, and things have really turned up Dolphins recently. Now, just hours before Miami's primetime matchup against the Saints, they're in position to control their own destiny. That's right, the 1-7 Dolphins can enter the postseason guaranteed if they manage to win their final 3 games. We'll talk about how that happened, what it means, and of course, predict the outcome for tonight, the biggest game of the season. Dolphins Saints on Monday night. Let's go and let's dive in. So, things just got a lot spicier in the AFC playoff picture. Miami was helped out immensely by multiple teams this week. Firstly, the Buffalo Bills. And God, do I hate them. I know you hate them too. And probably the most frustrating part is when we play them twice, we get our doors blown off. But when they're not playing us, they look so damn beatable. Thankfully, though, the Patriots are even more beatable, and Buffalo helped us out by winning up in Foxborough. That put the Pats back within striking distance for us, and essentially clinched the division for Buffalo, considering they play Atlanta and the Jets. But don't worry, that division title, it's ours next year. The Chiefs absolutely dominated the Steelers, exposing them and showing that they were never really a playoff caliber team at all. Big Ben has lost it, and their defense is overrated as hell, starting with that free safety of theirs. Green Bay, on Christmas Day, handled the Browns for us as well, knocking them to 8 losses on the season, and Joe Burrow absolutely annihilated the Ravens. And can I just say, us exposing the Ravens, and although I hate that their recent play makes our win look less impressive, it is nice to know that we put out the blueprint on how to beat Harbaugh's crew. The loss gives Cincy control of the North, and it knocks the Ravens even with us at 7 losses, with us, of course, having that head-to-head tiebreaker if it does come to that. Now, the game changer of the weekend, the game which absolutely wasn't supposed to go our way but did, was Houston. Holy cow, no one expected Justin Herbert and the Chargers to lose a must-have-it game against such a bad team. Not only were the Texans ravaged by injury and a bunch of players on the reserve list, but I mean, come on. They're the 2021 Houston Texans. Even Jacoby Brissett can beat them, Herbie. Come on, man. And a pick 6 to top it off? Jeez. Doesn't really matter to us, though, since the shocking upset brought the Chargers back to 7 losses as well, and it puts their playoff futures in jeopardy with a tough stretch to close out the season against the Broncos and then the Raiders. As a result of all this mayhem that happened in the AFC, Miami no longer needs help from any other franchises. No, the Dolphins, as the saying goes, control their destiny. That means if they handle what's in front of them and win out, a playoff spot is guaranteed. It will happen. There's no chance anymore of finishing 10-7, finishing the magical run, and then missing out due to some technicalities like last year's 10-6 season. Miami now owns those technicalities, and they're going to lock up a spot if they do finish 3-0 down the stretch. And look, not that it matters at the end of the year, but for now, it does matter. To us fans, to me, it matters. The Dolphins, with a win tonight in New Orleans, would become the 7th seed in the AFC playoff picture currently, holding on to the final wildcard slot. And look, after months of being disregarded, months of inconsistent play from our own team, and then media graphic after graphic showing us the playoff picture, being on the bottom of the screen, barely there, metaphorically and literally written off the screen, our beautiful aqua and orange logo is going to be plastered on every screen in America all week long. Oh, what's that, ESPN? Showing the current playoff seedings? Oh, would you look at that? Miami's in. Oh, NBC Sports, Florio, you doing a segment on who the pretenders and contenders are in the AFC? Feel free to continue disregarding us despite our presence in the standings. We can be there. That's what's at stake tonight. Yeah, a win doesn't lock up a spot. It's just part of the climb there. But for us fans, all the bullshit we've dealt with all season long, seeing the Dolphins literally climb back into the playoff picture, like actually holding on to a spot, even if it's just for a week. After 1-7, after how miserable we all were, Oh Lord, is that going to feel nice. If you took a picture of that graphic and showed it to us 2 months ago, no one would believe it. And here at the PhinsPod, we're a very optimistic Dolphins slanted show. I think you guys know this. And even we had no aspirations of, at this point in the season, being in the playoff picture. Now, moving to tonight, I know this episode is coming out day of, so if you're listening Monday after the game, Tuesday, or any other time, you'll know right away how full of shit I am or how right I was. Because the Dolphins enter the national stage, Monday Night Football, on perhaps the perfect week. As we just illustrated, they're back in the mix now, and in front of football fans across the world, other players and coaches in the league, they can make a statement. And I believe they do. I don't believe this game should be particularly close, and that's where, if you're from the future, you know I'm either an idiot or I called it. Because I know everyone says it's going to be a tight one. A defensive struggle, is what everyone's projecting right now. And look, that makes sense. The Saints, despite some of their recent struggles, they still boast one of the best defensive cores in the entire league. And that pass rush with Marcus Davenport and Cameron Jordan, that's elite. If you remember, Marcus Davenport was a high first-round pick for the Saints. He was kind of considered a project guy, came out of a smaller school, and he was developmental. And a lot of people wrote him off as a bust. And this season, he has come alive. And perhaps considering he's a part of the best duo Miami's going to see with Cameron Jordan and the two tackles we have on our offensive line, Tua, to a lot of people, is primed to be a sitting duck. He'll be hit all day long and hurried. And then their secondary, featuring Marshawn Lattimore, that's stout, and overall, they have been a stingy unit in pass coverage all season long. Most recently, they shut out Tom Brady and the Bucs. And seeing what Tampa just did to the Panthers, you should realize how difficult that is. Shit, we got roasted ourselves by the Bucs bad earlier this season, so we know how impressive it is to shut them out. Miami's defense is also respected, so considering the circumstances, people believe this is a defensive game, a tight game, low scoring, and ultimately coming down to just 3 points, maybe a field goal, whoever has the ball last. But here's where I'm going to put myself out there. I think the Dolphins should and will relatively dominate. And there are a few reasons for that I'm going to get into. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I know when I'm looking to find a new job, build my career, or network with others in the field, I turn to LinkedIn. And as a potential employer or even employee, you can too. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on the candidates with just the right skills and experience that you need and use screening questions to get your role in front of only those who are most qualified. Then, use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to filter through and prioritize who you want to interview and ultimately hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates that you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? And post your job for free using our link at linkedin.com/fins. That's linkedin.com/PHINS, fins, to post your job for free. Remember, terms and conditions apply. When you look at this game, it's important to look at it from the present moment. Normally, yes, I think these teams are evenly matched, and it would be a very competitive game. But Lord, the Saints are absolutely ravaged by both coaches and players testing out and being placed on the reserve list. And as a result, they're missing the game. The Saints have 21 players and 4 coaches, as of this recording, who knows if it's gone up, who will be missing the game. In terms of starters, on the offensive side of the ball, they're going to be without quarterback Taysom Hill, tackle Ryan Ramczyk, receiver Deontay Harris, and then tight ends Adam Troutman and Juwan Johnson. They have been ravaged and decimated with injuries in other places as well. And of those 21 missing players, that they're going to be reserve offensive players as well who would have seen snaps had they been cleared to play. So those were only the starters who normally would play that I listed. A healthy amount on both the line, in the receiving core. Almost every part of the offense has been hit with the COVID issues. And now they also have reserve guys. So third stringers are going to have to come in and play. Defensively, the Saints are going to be without safety Malcolm Jenkins, which is a huge loss. And honestly, the guy who likely would have limited Mike Gesicki's production. Because let's be real, when Gesicki's matched up one-on-one with an equally large and generally more physical guy, he doesn't play as well. He isn't able to get separation, and every catch has to be a setup play. Those 1-yard throws to the flat that I absolutely hate that never get anything. It has to be set up like that, or just a wild catch from Gesicki himself. But he would struggle to get open when he's pressed and jammed consistently, and that's what Malcolm Jenkins was going to do. And he's one of the best to ever do it. So the fact that he's out, it's big. Also on the defensive line, they'll be without Carl Granderson and Malcolm Roach, who are rotational guys who might not be the most impactful players, but they'd be helpful in stopping the run, and they'll be able to spell other defensive linemen in the rotation, pass rush situations. Now, without those guys, the Saints are limited with their substitutions, and it forces more guys to stay out and play more snaps than they normally would, resulting in getting tired. They also don't have linebackers Demario Davis and Quan Alexander. All in all, the Saints are depleted. And frankly, of all the guys missing on defense, aside from Jenkins, Demario Davis and Quan Alexander are two damn good linebackers, Davis specifically. So missing that is a big deal. And as a result of all of these limitations on both sides of the ball, I expect them to play in a more limited way, right? Basic offenses and defenses. Just limit your own mistakes and try to take advantage of any that Miami makes. Lean on the run with Alvin Kamara. Plenty of dump-offs to him underneath routes. If you got Kamara on fantasy and you're in the playoffs, you're going to be good. But, they want to run basically ball control style football and limit any opportunities for mistakes because of all the inexperience they have out on the football field. And look, having a rookie out there in Ian Book, don't put the game on him. That's not what they want. They want to ask him to manage it and keep it within striking distance. If they have a lead, nurse the lead. Hand the ball off. Don't make any bad throws. It's good to punt the ball. Just make the right read. But here's the thing. Miami's defense is pretty good too. Pretty damn good. And I expect them to be aggressive early and often. Miami was way too soft last week on Zach Wilson early in the game. They obviously picked it up in the second half, but early on, they gave way too much respect for some reason to Zach Wilson's legs, or frankly, just his ability to diagnose, attack him. And once they did, he fell apart. If we see this defense in zone or in base 4-3 looks early in the game tonight, I'm not going to be happy. I understand that even base defenses usually work. You throw in a simple coverage disguise, it can make life confusing for a young quarterback. But when you have the horses to make his life not just confusing, but a living hell, you should do that instead. Send the house. The amoeba front should be the base defense and never give Book the ability to understand what's happening pre-snap. When he's seeing over and over again, we've talked about this before, but with the amoeba front, you have everyone up on the line of scrimmage. And sometimes people drop. Sometimes you send a couple. Sometimes you send everyone. But the look is the same. So as a quarterback, the only thing you're going to be able to decipher is what coverage we're in defensively or who's coming from where once the ball is snapped, because we're giving you the same look. For a veteran, you can get into the right play, you can have a hot route, you know what to do, but that's a lot to ask for a mid-round rookie quarterback to try and diagnose. So confuse him, scare him, hit him, rattle him. That's what I want to see tonight, an aggressive Dolphins defense. Plus, if you're staying up on the line, using that amoeba front and calling an aggressive game, it's going to limit the only thing the Saints can still do, and that's run the ball. It's what they want to do. If you're up on the line, take that away. You take away those underneath routes, and then you force Book to make quick and decisive decisions. That leads to mistakes, and that's what I believe we're going to see tonight. I hope Miami gets at least a couple of turnovers and generally makes moving the ball for the Saints pretty difficult. With Javon Holland back, the whole defensive playbook is open yet again. Yeah, I'm concerned that he has missed now 2 full weeks. Honestly, more than 2 weeks, but there could be rust considering he is such a young player, and we saw the rust that the team played with last week starting out against the Jets. He had the bye week, and then, of course, last week he was on the reserve list. But hopefully the fact that Holland has proven to be just a straight baller makes that worry obsolete within a few snaps. I mean, hell, he did opt out of the entire senior season at Oregon and then exploded onto the scene in the NFL as a rookie, so maybe I should give him the benefit of the doubt on this. He probably won't be too rusty. That's honestly my main concern with this game is Holland going to be back where the defense can run the way they've been running the past month and a half? Because with the Jets, you saw the limitations this defense has without Holland. Now that he's back, I hope to see us running that aggressive, confusing style that we have been successful with in recent weeks. Overall, considering all the injuries and the missing players that the Saints have on offense, Miami should be able to limit them consistently. And any scoring drives they put together should be the result of long, methodical plays, drives, forcing Ian Book to earn every yard. Or perhaps maybe one busted defensive play. But I don't really expect to see the Saints slice and dice their way down the field, drive in, drive out, just getting chunk play after chunk play, because they're so limited. And again, they have a rookie quarterback. The real question for this Miami game is their offense. Will they be able to complement their defense and put up points? Now, look, I don't think Miami's about to put up 30-plus points and just dominate to that degree. That would be near orgasmic. And if that's what happens, future Dolphins fans, I can't wait to watch tonight. But I do see them putting together some big drives throughout the game and scoring at a decent rate, definitely a rate enough where they should control the game. This is a big one for Tua. Not only does he get to play as a starter in front of the whole world, because if you remember, the last primetime game was Baltimore and had to see him come off the bench, but generally, people don't really expect too much from him. A lot of credit is going the Saints' way defensively, justifiably so, but if Tua is able to look good, just a week removed from the Saints shutting out Brady, that's going to go a long way in potentially shifting the narrative. And look, our narrative is set here. And what we Dolphins fans think and believe about our young quarterback, that matters a hell of a lot more. But let's be honest. Seeing the kid get more respect and props for his play, it's well-deserved. He deserves it, frankly. And with Waddle back and the missing pieces in the Saints defense, he has an opportunity to make some big plays. And then you got Demario Davis and Quan Alexander out, linebackers who are probably pretty experienced compared to the guys who are going to replace them, playing against the RPO. Because remember, the way Miami runs the RPO, a lot of the times that conflict defender, it's a linebacker. And the way they react results in what Miami does. If you have an inexperienced guy who makes the wrong decision and opens up a big hole, that's where you see those slants to Waddle that go 40, 50 yards downfield. And because they're going to have reserve linebackers in, I expect Waddle to feast and have a pretty good day. If he starts getting it going, if he starts cooking, then that opens things up for Devontae and Gesicki. And it's finally great to get all three of them back out on the field together. Because having all three of them, it helps this offense out greatly and provides Tua with weapons to actually go to more than just one guy. For Miami to be able to move up and down the field consistently, though, they do have to have some semblance of a running game. I'm excited to see what that could look like tonight because both Duke Johnson and Phillip Lindsay, they should be active. And having both of them, experienced veteran runners as a 1-2 punch, compared to the youth and inexperience that we've had as of late in our 1-2 punches, it could be a boon for this offensive unit and offensive line building confidence going forward. If Miami's able to get over 100 yards rushing again, that not only will open things up for the offense entirely, but I think it would all but seal a win. If we get 100-plus rushing yards, if you consider what that means in the game, that's going to help Tua out a lot. We've seen that when Tua is aided with a run game, even if he makes mistakes, he keeps you in good position. Now imagine him having a run game and not making that many mistakes, if any at all. And look, I know if you're from the future, you know just how crazy I sound. By all accounts, it's going to be a hotly contested game. Tua won't light up the world. The run game will be mediocre to bad, and the Fins will have to hold on for dear life, maybe or maybe not pulling out the win. But all things considered, having watched this team over the course of the season now, I got faith. I got faith that Brian Flores is going to have these guys ready and that they won't come out slow. I believe the talent that we've accumulated, the guys we've drafted, and the guys we've signed, Emmanuel Ogbah, to be impact players, they'll make an impact. And the main difference between this and any other potential playoff run that we've been part of as Dolphins fans, because to be honest, we've been through a lot of these pushes down the stretch. If this happens, if we win out, we get in, only to then come up small in those big moments. But the main difference is who's running our offense now. Our quarterback. With Chad Henne, with Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, I'd be queasy. But with this kid, the kid you took 5th overall, the kid who shined brightest in the biggest moments time and time again in Tuscaloosa, the reason you drafted him there, that kid is now leading the charge. He's playing with more comfort, more understanding of the offense, and he's making more plays. If you've been looking at this team, you're seeing that Tua's getting a better grasp of the offense. Frankly, the game-winning touchdown against the Jets, he audibled to that. We found that out on Inside the NFL. He liked what he saw, gave Devontae a sign, and made a play. That shows that you are comfortable, not only in the moment, but comfortable with your weapons and your offense. If that continues and he gets support in the run game, that's going to help a lot. And assuming he doesn't come out rusty again, which I don't believe he will, then I think he has himself a good game. My final score prediction, Dolphins 27, Saints 12. What do you think? Am I taking the Saints on way too lightly? Is Miami going to let us down and give up this opportunity, this golden chance in front of them? Or do you think, like me, Miami should get this game and enter the final stretch with 2 games between them and a playoff berth? Let me know in the comments below.
How has Tua improved in your estimation?
I think
Coach?
he's got much better command of the offense. His leadership has improved immensely. His preparation. I think every time he steps out on the field, he gets a little bit better. Still developing, but he's a hard-working kid. It's very important to him, and I'm pleased with his growth this season.
Well, I mean, any time I've ever been around him, you just sense it. The word "it," right? He's got it. He exudes it, whatever the it is, and only in the good way. When you say he's improved his leadership, how has that come to the fore, Coach?
I think it's just being more comfortable, within the offense. Last year, coming off of the injury, learning a new playbook. I think he's just much more comfortable. Talks to his receivers more, talks to the offensive line more, just taking more command of the offense, and that's helped us, I think.
Yeah, and of course, I assume he takes coaching really well. I mean, coming from his world of Nick Saban,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely he does. He's a great kid, and he asks a lot of questions. He tries to be a sponge to get as much information as he can, so he can help put our team in as good a position as possible.
That's going to do it for us here today. Thank you guys so much for listening to the PhinsPod. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Timothy Ritchie, Brian Guger, and Chris, members of the pod and supporters of the show over on Patreon. Check that out. Links in the description, or head to patreon.com/PhinsPod. We recently passed 5,000 subscribers, so thank you again so much. That's awesome. We're so excited to keep on going, and honestly cannot believe that 5,000 of you actually want to give a damn about what we think about the Dolphins. But thank you so much for the support. Please remember to like the video if you enjoyed the show, and subscribe so you never miss a chance to chat about your Miami Dolphins. Remember that the PhinsPod's available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and of course, YouTube. Continue the conversation with us over on Twitter and Instagram @PhinsPod. I hope you all have an amazing day. Let's go Dolphins tonight. And until next time, stay safe. Love y'all. Who dat's going down?